Hi everyone. So I was asked to explain what the problem with the term what's the problem with the term the new anti-Semitism? What what triggers this complaint about the newness? So let me first give you the background for those who are not familiar, and then I'll make the point. So on October 7th, 2023, the Israeli army did not protect Israel's border, allowing thousands of Arabs to cross into Israel to attack the towns and villages there. They they killed the men, slaughtered the children in front of their mothers, raped the women, and led them naked through the streets of Gaza to be humiliated in public and then beaten to death. The This gruesome Palestinian attack left 1,200 Israelis dead and more than 200 additional ones kidnapped. Now, this orgy of Arab sadism against Jews produced revulsion in most sectors of American life and expressions of solidarity with Israelis. But in the most progressive places of American life, the massive Palestinian pogrom in Israel produced celebration and anti-Jewish protests. As the stomach-turning videos were circulating worldwide on social media, the televised slaughter of Jews in Israel was celebrated in our big democratic cities and on the campuses of elite universities. And so Americans were stunned by this. Okay, at the same time, as the GoPro videos from the Hamas attackers were were everywhere, not on television, but on Facebook, etc. Um, People were looking at their televisions and seeing Americans cheer for this. And then it got worse. Be because university administrations did nothing about these calls for violence, these celebrations of violence, and these attacks against Jews and or campaigns of intimidation against Jews early on, the scope of campus anti-Semitism intensified further in the following weeks and months. Okay, so it went from now it was not just chants advocating violence against Jews, Zionists, and Israelis, but also actual violence on campus. And still, university administrations did nothing. No students were expelled for violating university speech codes, let alone for actual violence and hooliganism. On some campuses, the campus police even recommended that students not wear visible Jewish markings because the cops could not protect them, could not defend them. Now, American Jews recognize stories like this about angry mobs chasing Jews down the streets and marking Jewish homes with swastikas and Stars of David and calling for the murder of Jews. Uh, they recognize these stories as old history, as memories that their grandparents recalled from the old country during the darkest days of the 20th century. But they themselves had never experienced such sights and sounds and never imagined that they would ever witness them in America. Additionally, more important or as important, they never expected that their friends on the progressive left, which is the home of most American Jews, they never imagined that their friends would remain silent or even justify or cheer on the murder and rape of Jews in Israel. Okay? And this is why this wave of anti-Semitism is often referred to as the new anti-Semitism. Okay? It's new in the sense that, hey, it's coming from the enlightened secular left, which is this kind of surprise. It's a new thing, rather than coming from the benighted and creepy Christian right. Okay, so that's why it's new and surprising, um, and that's the problem with it. Okay, this framing that the natural home of anti-Semitism is the benighted camp of the right, Christianity, etc. and it's a foreign element on the left. And so it's a new thing that we suddenly see it here. Um, so the term new denotes the surprise that American Jews and American leftists felt to see it on such display on October 7th, October 8th, and the weeks that followed. Um, but it's hardly surprising. Okay, when you see this when they saw this anti-Semitism on campus, they were surprised by it, but there was no reason to be surprised. Okay? And not just because American universities have long been a safe haven for the BDS campaign to impose sanctions and boycotts against Israel and Israelis and to eliminate Israel as a Jewish state. Okay? It's also not surprising. So it's not surprising for that reason, but also because this anti-Semitism is just one form of bigotry and discrimination that American universities regularly have practiced against disfavored groups. For example, Asian Americans in admissions policies, or Christians with regard to campus activities. So anti-Semitism is not new on campus, not surprising, and not out of character for American universities. It's baked into how university administrations interact with the student body. Now, the pressure on Jewish students, as well as staff and faculty, but especially students, is coming not just from their universities and from academic societies that embrace the BDS campaign. It comes primarily from their friends. Progressive Jews who, like I said, most American Jews, their political home is the American left, and so when American Jews, progressive Jews, want to take part with their friends in left-wing campaigns, for women's rights or Black Lives Matter or gay rights or illegal immigration, global warming, etc., they often find that their friends subject them to a BDS test. And so these left-wing campaigns work with various organizations, including organizations that openly support anti-Semitic movements like Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and the Muslim Brotherhood. So they expect Jews to show their commitment to, let's say, global warming or Black Lives Matter by denouncing the Jewish state, to demonstrate their progressive bona fides across the spectrum of left-wing causes. So it's a lonely feeling because, look, you're on campus, you know how emotionally dependent young people are on their friends. And these friend groups are telling Jews to denounce the Jewish state and support Hamas, essentially, or be cast out, lose your friends, maybe lose your boyfriend, maybe lose your girlfriend. And the point is that this too is not new. This BDS loyalty test for Jews has been a part of progressive politics for quite a while. Those who remember the Women's March, for example, it's kind of a high publicity event that there was a big scandal there over the same exact issue. And that's in 2016 or 17. So what's new about the supposedly new anti-Semitism on campus is not the anti-Semitism itself, but the fact that seeing it on display in the face of the grotesque massacre of October 7th finally compelled American Jews to realize that they cannot escape their connection to Israel. Okay, so if in the past American Jews could could look past their friends' BDS obsessions. On October 7th, October 8th, it was too much because of this juxtaposition. This wave of progressive anti-Semitism clarified or is clarifying to American Jews on the left that the attack against Zionism inevitably includes them. Even if they loudly denounce the occupation and denounce the settlements and Bibi Netanyahu, it won't insulate them because non-Jews see all Jews as one people, as one family. Okay? Non-Jewish friends of Israel or of Judaism and non-Jewish enemies of Israel and Judaism. Okay? They both see the Jews as, again, as one people. So this wave of anti-Semitism is forcing American Jews to understand that distancing themselves from Israel to pass the BDS test will not help them keep their progressive friends. Distancing themselves from the Jewish community, from the Jewish nation, from the Jewish state, and from Judaism will not shield them from anti-Semitism. And by the way, this supposedly new anti-Semitism clarifies also to Israeli Jews that they too cannot escape their fate in Israel by relocating to Europe or America. It shows them that they too cannot escape anti-Semitism by distancing themselves from Israel. And moving to Europe or America will not insulate them either from anti-Semitism. The anti-Semitic murder and mutilation spree in Israel and the anti-Semitic celebrations of it in America and Europe revealed to both Israeli and American Jews that despite their differences, they have a shared identity and a shared fate. And as always, it's non-Jews in the Middle East, non-Jews in Europe, non-Jews in America, who remind Jews that they are brothers and that they have no one but fellow Jews to fight with them and for them. Now, certainly Jews do have non-Jewish friends and supporters in the Democratic mainstream, in the Republican Party, and on the Christian right. And this camaraderie from these friends has been significant and helpful and very meaningful to the American Jews and to Israeli Jews. But no one is in the proverbial boat with Jews other than fellow Jews. So a new generation of Jews is relearning age-old lessons once again, that nobody will defend Jews but fellow Jews, and nobody will avenge Jews but fellow Jews. Okay, so Israelis are relearning that UN peacekeepers will not protect them from Hezbollah. Egypt will not protect them from Hamas. The Palestinian Authority will not protect them from terrorism. The Red Cross will not protect their hostages, and the United States will not protect them from Iran. American Jews, likewise, have been relearning this same lesson. Big city mayors and police chiefs will not protect their Jewish residents. University presidents will not protect their Jewish students, and women's organizations will not speak for Jewish rape victims. So just as Israel recommits itself to defending its borders independently, Jewish communities in America are recommitting to defending their synagogues and day schools with private security. A year ago, a throng of pro-Hamas demonstrators in Los Angeles blocked the entrance to an Orthodox synagogue and assaulted and bear-sprayed Jews trying to get in for services. And the LAPD stood and watched, and it was Jewish security associations that broke up the melee. The police documented it for maybe later issuing citations or something. but it was private security that broke up and protected these Jews trying to get into the synagogue. Um, so, so the anti-Semitic protesters on America's city streets and college campuses are making Jews who had not lived Jewish lives in decades come face to face with their Jewish identity and their Jewish belonging in a way that they never had before. And that is what is new in the new anti-Semitism. Thank you.